Welcome to the Association of Residency Administrators in Surgery AI and ChatGPT webinar. We have two speakers today, and the first one is Robbie Morgan. He holds an MFA in film production from the University of New Orleans. His dedication to education is evident through his extensive teaching experience, which ranges from instructing school-age children to university students. Currently, Robbie resides in New Orleans, where he works as a program administrator at Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center. In this role, he manages and oversees two fellowship programs for the Internal Medicine Department of LSU, Nephrology and Infectious Disease. Robbie's dynamic career reflects his dedication to the field of medical education, highlighting his versatile skill set and commitment to excellence in all endeavors.
And I have the pleasure of introducing Josh Buttrick. He is a dedicated program administrator with over a decade of experience supporting the LSU Ophthalmology Department. Recently promoted to program administrator. Is that four? I get those confused. A newly established role at LSU. He will collaborate with LSU GME to support new program administrators while continuing his department responsibilities. Before transitioning to medical education, Josh spent over a decade in retail management at Bath and Body Works, holding leadership roles such as interim district manager and store manager. The customer service, multitasking, and problem-solving skills gained in retail seamlessly transitioned to the role of a residency coordinator, enabling effective communication, organization, and adaptability in a fast-paced academic environment. As an active member of the Association of University Professors of I don't think I'm saying that right, but Ophthalmology, AUPO member since 2019. He serves on the Communications Committee and Social Media Subcommittee. He earned his TAGME certification in November of 2023, underscoring his commitment to excellence in GME administration. So welcome.
Thank y'all. What up? Right. Sorry. I think it's here. Right. All right. Thank y'all so much for having us today. We gave this lecture at ACGME, and so we hope you find it helpful. It's really kind of a beginner's guide to AI. And primarily a lot of the examples we're going to use today are going to be within ChatGPT, but there are multiple programs that you can use. And we will go over some of those today as well too. Let's see if I can get this to minimize. All right, we have no disclosures. Like Katie said, I have been with LSU for 10.5 years. I was recently moved to a new position, a program administrator for. So I work part-time with the GME office here at the university, and then also we're still work with the Department of Ophthalmology. I train new program administrators. I mentor administrators whose departments may be going through a focus review, things like that.
As said before, I'm a program administrator over the nephrology and infectious diseases fellowships at the University of Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center in New Orleans. And in this role, I manage and oversee the compliance of training programs with ACGME standards, LSU, HSC, and OAT policies, and other regulatory requirements. So for our presentation today, we're going to have some sessions that have objectives. In the ever-evolving world of residency coordination, artificial intelligence, AI, is emerging as a powerful tool to enhance efficiency and streamline processes. Understanding the fundamental concepts of AI, including the capabilities of ChatGPT, is crucial for coordinators looking to optimize their daily tasks. Residency coordination involves numerous repetitive and time-consuming workflows. I'm sure everybody knows, from scheduling interviews to managing communication. We'll identify 3 key areas where AI can be integrated, which can significantly reduce administrative burdens and improve overall efficiency. However, successful AI implementation requires careful planning. Developing practical strategies ensures that AI tools like ChatGPT are used effectively while addressing challenges such as data security and compliance with privacy regulations. By embracing AI with a structured approach, residency programs can improve workflow management and enhance the overall experience for both coordinators and residents. So we're going to talk about the importance of coordinator efficiency. In a busy residency program, which we all know, every minute counts. Coordinators juggle schedules, paperwork, and communication to ensure everything runs smoothly. When coordination is efficient, residents get clear schedules, and administrators can stay ahead of compliance requirements. When things fall through the cracks, missed deadlines, scheduling conflicts, or disorganized workflows, stress builds, and the entire program suffers. Efficiency just isn't just about saving time, it's about creating a seamless experience where everyone can focus on what truly matters: resident education and patient care. With the right tools and strategies, including AI-driven solutions, programs can reduce administrative burdens, improve organization, and enhance overall success. So let's talk about how AI and tools like ChatGPT can help us in our roles as medical administrators, especially in improving efficiency and supporting tasks that are central to residency coordination. We've got ACGME compliance. The Accreditation Council for Graduate Medical Education, ACGME, sets standards that residencies programs must follow. AI can help track resident progress, ensure that evaluations are completed on time, and organize documentation required for ACGME reports. So this can help keep our programs compliant by reducing the chance of missed deadlines or incomplete reports. It can help clean up responses. A good example is major changes in ADS. When we submit updates to the accreditation data system, ADS, especially about major program changes, AI like ChatGPT can help by refining our written responses. It can help with grammar, clarity, and tone, ensuring that our submissions are clear, professional, and aligned with ACGME guidelines, which reduces the time spent on revisions. Another a way that we can use this is for residency and faculty support. You can use other AI tools to assist residents and faculty by providing quick, frequently asked questions, managing schedules, and sending reminders for evaluations. This reduces the workload for both residents and faculty, allowing them to focus more on their education and clinical work rather than administrative tasks. So in conclusion, by integrating AI and ChatGPT into residency coordination, we can automate routine tasks, streamline communication, and gain better insights from data. This not only makes our jobs easier, but also allows us to focus more on improving the quality of the residency program and support both residents and faculty.
Well, you'll see several examples here on the screen. We're going to cover 3 of these today. We're going to talk about email drafting and communication, document creation, and problem solving and brainstorming. But there are a multitude of things that you can do with AI and ChatGPT. Like Robbie just said, especially the major changes section. I now will, in a Word document, create all my major changes for the ADS, make a bullet point of several things, feed that into ChatGPT and ask it to write it for me in a professional and narrative form, and then it'll spit out a major changes for me. Then I can then send a PD to then edit from there. It's incredibly helpful, does so much of the work for you once you give it the information. And so some of the things we can do today, we won't go over a major changes example, but you can use examples we're going to talk about today to then to work on your major changes. It'll be incredibly helpful for you, I promise. So why are people afraid to use AI? We all know it exists, it's there, it's out there, but some people are still hesitant about using it. And one of the reasons is people are unfamiliar with AI. They don't understand how it works, they don't understand the process of it, and really, it's really not that complicated. Well, actually, that's a lie. It is super complicated, I'm sure, behind the scenes, but as a user, it's really not that complicated as a user. I don't really understand the super dynamics of it behind the scene, but I know what's going on when I use it within my Word document. People find interacting with AI intimidating. The amount of data that it can spit out extremely quickly makes some people apprehensive about the reliability of the data. And And I will say this, you do have to go through and read. You can't 100%. We're not at the point where you can 100% rely on the data that's spitting out. You still have to go through, read it, because it's pulling from sources all over the internet into your document. It will take a consideration of your conversations you've had within the past, but it's going to pull from everywhere else. So you have to go through and make sure that you're reading what actually is going through. But the data it can spit out, it is incredibly fast, but it's incredibly convenient at the same time. Some people have an aversion to technology. Some people are just not fans of technology in general. I am somebody who both embraces technology, but still does some things old school. I still use physical books. I don't read an ebook. If you see me at an ACG meeting or anything like that, I'm going to have an actual notebook with a pen taking on my notes versus my tablet. Even though I may have my tablet with me, all of my notes and things are still going to be in a notebook because that's how I prefer. But really, when it comes to technology, if we don't go ahead now as administrators or as coordinators, go ahead and grasp the technology now, we're going to get left behind because the technology is coming into education, into the hospitals. And so we've got to learn how to grasp it now. And some people have job replacement fears, which for some roles is a real reality. It's not a real reality for us, at least at this point in time. Who knows what the future may hold many years from now. Because the things that we do, it can't replace what we're doing, but it definitely can assist us in what we're doing on a regular basis. Some people have privacy concerns, which is a real concern. We are going to talk about this several times today. You have to be careful with the information that you're putting into anything like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, because what it does, it takes all the data that's fed into it and then is using that data to help other people with their work. And so you have to be careful with things you put in. You can't put in things like people's social security number, people's address, things like that. So those concerns are a real concern. You just have to be mindful of the data that you're putting into it. You have to check sometimes with your specialty before uploading things like interview applications, CVs, things like that. You kind of need to check with people before you upload all those things. Having those things uploaded are incredibly helpful, though. I will say that my PD doesn't have an issue with me using her CV within my ChatGPT because it does help me with writing letters and things like that for her as well, too. So sometimes you just need to check with some of those people, but in basis like social security numbers, things like that, you just need to be mindful of those things don't need to be entered into it. You can't go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I want Jim Bob's social security number. It's not gonna be able to spit you out a security number, but that data is still held somewhere within the server. And so you don't want that information just floating around out there. But really, it's no big deal. In all honesty, as long as you're careful with the data that you're putting into it, you really can't mess anything up. ChatGPT is really, when I first started using it, I really just went in and started playing around with it. Every day I just went in and took an email, have it rewrite it. And then as I started to do it more and more, I began to learn. And so I'm a hands-on learner, is kind of how I learn. And really, you can't really mess anything up when you're doing it. It's just going to keep learning from the conversations that you're having with it, is how it's going to learn.
So what is AI? Artificial intelligence refers to the ability of machines or software to perform tasks that usually require human intelligence. These tasks include things like learning, improving over time, reasoning, making decisions, problem solving, understanding natural language like how we speak, and even perception like recognizing images or sounds. In simpler terms, AI is like a smart system that can analyze data, make decisions, and perform tasks in its own, much like a human would, but often much faster and more efficiently. AI cannot function on its own. It requires human input, and it is very important how you phrase commands. Let's take a look and break down how AI works using a simple explanation and how it can be helpful in medical education. So you have data input. AI learns from large amounts of data. This can be things like text, emails, documents. Think about like how a person learns by observing a lot of examples. For example, if you show AI your writing style, it can start to see patterns and relationships within the data. Again, what information you input stays in it, so it is vitally important you don't use any confidential information or sensitive information. We're gonna keep reiterating, I think, that over and over again. Your university may have its own proprietary AI program they use to keep everything in-house. And this is a question for your institution on a case-by-case basis. We were, from when we first started this to now, we have, our university provides Copilot, right?
Yeah, we have access to Copilot, so it's part of our Microsoft package that the university pays for. So that's a question you can ask your IT department, which you may have access to. I still prefer ChatGPT to Copilot, but we do have access to it though.
So algorithms, once AI has the data, it uses algorithms to analyze it. And an algorithm is basically a set of rules or instructions that guide the AI on how to process the data. Some algorithms are simple, like a flow chart that makes decisions, and others are more complex, like neural networks, which are modeled after how the human brain works. These algorithms help AI make decisions or predictions based on the patterns it's found in the data. Oops, did I go too far? Yeah, I did, sorry. So how can this help in medical education? In residency coordination, this process can be incredibly useful. You can analyze resident performance. AI can analyze large sets of data such as de-identified evaluations or progress reports to find areas where a resident may need improvement or where they excel. This helps program administrators focus on areas that need attention without manually sifting through tons of documents. You can automate tasks like scheduling, answering common questions, or processing paperwork, all by recognizing patterns in the past data and making decisions based on the information. So in short, AI uses data and algorithms to help us work smarter and faster, improving efficiency and decision-making in our residency programs. So what is ChatGPT? It's a special type of AI model created by OpenAI. It's built on a framework called GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. In simple terms, GPT is an AI system designed to understand and generate human-like text. This means it can read, understand what you're asking, and then provide a response that sounds like it's coming from a real person. What is GPT-4? It's the fourth version of this AI model. Each version gets smarter, and GPT-4 is the most advanced. It's better at understanding context, providing clear responses, and creating more accurate text. It can help handle complex questions or tasks, making it a powerful tool for medical administrators like us. So it's currently free to use, which makes it an excellent resource for improving efficiency in your daily tasks. Let's take a dive into how ChatGPT works and how it can assist in medical education administration. Training data. ChatGPT is trained with a wide range of text from the internet. This includes books, articles, websites, and many other resources. All this information helps ChatGPT understand human language so it can answer questions, write documents, and carry on conversations in a way that feels natural and human-like. Think of it like ChatGPT reading lots of different things to learn how to respond effectively. The information is based off older data, so it has to be updated periodically. Response generation. Retention of data. When you enter into ChatGPT is stored, like we've said, and it contributes to the overall improvement on responses over time. So response generation, when you ask ChatGPT a question, it doesn't just search for an answer online. Instead, it generates a response based on its understanding of language and context. It takes into account everything you said in the current conversation, including previous messages, and uses that context to give you the most relevant and coherent response. For example, if you ask it about resident evaluation forms and then about scheduling, it will keep track of the conversation's flow and respond in a way that makes sense in relation to your previous question.
So I will say this. So I have two ChatGPT accounts. I have one that is for work and one that is personal because the language is very different. So my work account is very professional. It's all built around milestones, ACGME, things like that. And then my personal account is not. And so what I've done is while I'm at work, I use a desktop page and use that. It's also, if you use Firefox, there actually is an attachment. That's an attachment. What's it called? A plugin. There's a plugin now for ChatGPT where you can where you can open it up on the side panel now, which is phenomenal while I'm working. But then personally, I have the ChatGPT app on my phone that I use personal. And so that's how I separate those two. So if you're new at this or you're just starting, I would suggest you set up 2 separate accounts to keep the language separated. I found it extremely helpful to make sure that my language stays professional and clear when I do stuff for work.
So is ChatGPT the only option? No. There are other large language models, LLMs, beyond ChatGPT that can be used in medical administration and education. These options may come with a cost, but they offer specific benefits that could be useful depending on your needs. I have an Android phone and I've been using Gemini. It helps with, we have a weekly conference, and now I've gotten it to the point to where I just copy and paste the general kind of what's schedule, et cetera, and just change who's speaking in the subject matter each time.
So how much does ChatGPT cost? So everything we're gonna go over here today is from the free version. And when I created this PowerPoint, this presentation, when I first started using it, I used the free version. Just this month, I talked to my chair of my department into paying the $20 a month to get the ChatGPT Plus. Because what I found is as ChatGPT is growing and it's learning, they're limiting the amount of access you have to the 4.0 version. And so what happens is you have a limited amount of responses you can get every day for their 4.0. And then what happens is when you reach your max that day, you have to start a new conversation, and it just bumps you down to the 3 or 3.5. And so you're still going to be able to use it. You'll be able to still get responses from it. Then that might not be as clear and as concise as they had been before. I really can't tell much of a difference, in all honesty, between the 3.5 and the 4. But with the 4, you can also attach documents as well too. So if you're working on, if you want to upload like the milestones for your specialty, then you can add those as an attachment. And I think you get 2 or 3 of those per day, and then for a 24-hour period, then you have to wait again. With the Plus, you have more options, you have more access to upload documents. But I began to use it so much that I was hitting the paywall by 11 o'clock in the morning. And I've been doing stuff for my chair now as well too. And so she went on and bumped me up to the Plus. There's also a business account. And so I did get promoted, so we're in the middle of recruiting a program administrator 1 that's going to assist me with the residency. So when I get here, we're going to go with the business version, which has even more access. But with the Plus, you also get access to their image generation called Sona. And so you can go in and create images and little videos and things as well too. So it's actually pretty great. But everything we're going to go over here today is doable within the free version. This is not something that you're going to have to pay for. And so when I started this, I started asking ChatGPT, what can you do? I was looking about what ideas can I do or talk about that's going to help coordinators. And so I went in and I asked ChatGPT, what can you do? I said, give me all the different tasks you can do. And it immediately told me that there wasn't enough paper in the world to list all the different things that it can do. And I was like, oh, somebody's full of themselves. And so I started small and I said, give me 20 things you can do to help me as a coordinator. And it immediately spit out 20 things. So I kept growing, and I was wondering, how many ideas can I fit on one slide? And so I actually was able to fit 200 different items on the one slide. And so these are, I'm telling you, these are just a fraction of what the things that it can do, but these are 200 different things that it can actually do to help us within our role. The possibilities are endless. I've been using it for 2 years and I'm doing more and different things, but I'm still just scratching the surface of things that are possible within AI itself. There's so many different programs and so many different things out there that can help us within our job. It is absolutely amazing.
So today we'll cover email drafting and communication, document creation, problem solving, and brainstorming. So for drafting emails, one of the ways AI can save you time is whether you're inviting someone to give a lecture or sending an announcement to a large group. AI like ChatGPT can create a template for you. For example, you could ask ChatGPT to draft an email inviting a faculty member to speak at an event. Based on your request, it will generate a well-structured and polite email, saving you time and ensuring the message is clear and professional. how it helps. Instead of starting from scratch, ChatGPT gives you a polished draft that you can personalize. You can use it for common communications like event invitations, reminders, or updates to residents or faculty. So creating email responses. We all deal with challenging or sensitive messages, whether it's addressing a concern from a resident or responding to feedback. AI can help draft thoughtful replies that are professional and carefully worded, making sure your responses don't hurt the program's reputation or miss key details in the process. For instance, if a resident is upset about scheduling an evaluation, you can use ChatGPT to help draft a response that addresses their concerns with empathy, professionalism, and clarity. This is especially helpful when dealing with sensitive issues where tone and wording matter. You can ask for a specific tone, i.e. empathetic, professional, or humorous. You can also use it for rewriting and proofreading. You can use it with emails or official documents. If you've written an email or report but want to ensure that it's clear, concise, and professional, ChatGPT can improve your wording and structure. If you only want to look for grammar or spelling errors, it can make your communications more polished. So we're going to go over effective email invitations. We've all had to invite distinguished presenters to interface with our programs, and this is an example of how to do so as professionally as possible. So Dr. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt is an incredibly important speaker who I've never communicated with before. So again, we use ChatGPT to craft the most professional response possible. And this is exactly what happens whenever you enter it into ChatGPT.
So we'll use videos for each of our examples. And so these are real-time videos that we recorded as we were building our presentation.
So this is the data prompt that we put into ChatGPT. Draft an email inviting a lecturer named John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt for the His Name Is My Name endowment lecture on February 20th, 2025 at the LSU Health Sciences Center. We're going to be sending out a handout after this presentation with the full version. But this is what ChatGPT gave us as a starting point with a professional tone, and this is what we can draft our final email from. And this is the final email. You can see it's edited, and ChatGPT gave us a great starting point, but there were still changes that had to be input before the final draft was sent out. And keep that in mind, you're not gonna always have it spit out exactly what you want. I mean, hardly ever, I would say that's gonna be the case. You really have to edit it each time.
I will say as I use it more and more and more, I have to edit less and less and less. I will say as it begins to learn your language model and how you want things written, I do have to edit things less than I did at the beginning.
So next year, when you have to invite a new speaker for this His Name Is My Name lecture, you save the text in a Word document and you already have a template ready to go. So we're going to be crafting an email response from an email that we've received. We're having trouble with one of our residents. Rainbow Bright is causing issues at one of our sites. We love Rainbow Bright and we want her to be as successful as she can be. Dr. Murky Dismal is the site director at the hospital, and he has emailed our program director, Dr. Shy Violet, about the residents' frequent absenteeism. Rainbow Bright has been missing work due to her horse Starlight's illnesses, but she has not let Dr. Dismal know that she was going to be out. We put in Dr. Dismal's email into ChatGPT and asked it to create an email addressing his concerns. And this is Dr. Dismal's email to Dr. Shy Violet, our program director, which you can see in our handout after we'll email you after we're done. And this is the draft reply ChatGPT generated to Dr. Dismal. And again, you're going to take this initial email that's sent, and then you're going to take it and edit it into a final email. And ChatGPT addressed Dr. Dismal's concern while also looking out for Rainbow Bright's interests. While this was not a real scenario, the email did allude to a plan to improve communication, and you may want to generate a specific plan to share with Dr. Murky Dismal.
All right, so we are also going to go over document creation. So with ChatGPT, you don't really have to start from scratch. You can ask it to start to help you create evaluation, assessment reports, progress tracking. There are a multitude of different things you can do. What you have to do is give it it needs information. So you have to give it some direction before it can actually start creating the document for you. So you need to identify the purpose. You need to give it some sort of outline. Do you want it to be multiple choice? Do you want it to be a rating system? How do you want the rating system to be? Do you want it to be 1 to 5, which is the highest, which is the lowest? These are all the data that it needs. It needs to know what kind of content you want in it, things of that nature. We actually had last year, our GME went through and met with each department, with the program director and the coordinator, and did a document review. And so it was kind of like a mini site visit within the university. And so it went through, it looked at our evaluations, what were we doing, nurse evaluations, self-evaluations, things like that. And our department had been doing self-evaluations, but it was really difficult to get it back. The evaluation itself was not really great either. And so the GME came and said, we want you to start doing self-evaluations again. And so I pulled out the old evaluation. It was horrible. And so I went through and I said, okay, I need to recreate this. And I opened an email to ask my service within AUPO. We have a coordinator distserv that I can email and ask questions. And so I was typing an email asking people for examples of things they were using within ophthalmology. And then it dawned on me that I could ask ChatGPT to then actually help me create something that would be useful for within just my department and that was specialized to us. So what I did is I was actually able to upload the milestones. So what I did is I told it, I said, using the ACGME ophthalmology milestones, create me a self-evaluation for a resident in an ophthalmology residency program. And so it told me that it didn't have access to the milestones. And so I had to go to the website, the ACMG website, pull the milestones out, feed it into it. I said, using these milestones, then create me the evaluation. So there are some things that it's not going to have access to, but actually just very recently, since we've created this document or this presentation, I think now ChatGPT actually has access to search the internet. I don't know if it has access to the full internet yet, because it just kind of started doing it where I'll type stuff in and it'll say searching the web. And so I don't know if it's searching the live web or if it's searching just from this last update. But I think that it actually has access to the internet now, which is actually incredibly helpful because it has more recent stuff in there as well too. So gave it the milestones, told it to create me a self-assessment using a 5-point scale. So this is what I told it: the milestone with the 5-point scale or rating system. And then I gave it the milestones. Y'all, of course, know this is not all the milestones, but I could not fit all that on one slide. It's an enormous amount of data. But like Robbie said, we will send out a handout that's going to have the data that we input, the data that ChatGPT gave us, and then the final documents. You can see the steps that it goes through as well. We'll send out our slides as well too, so you can see that for reference and go back. So it gave me a self-assessment. I actually went through and created 2 self-assessments because I wanted to see some variety. And so I asked it to start over from scratch and give me another one. I sent these to my PD, and then we sent both of these documents to our PEC, and then asked the PEC to pick which one they liked the best. And then they picked the one they liked the best, and then we went from there and edited it. So all of it was incredibly quick because it saved me so much time because I didn't have to go to the PEC and then say, okay, we need to create a self-assessment. Well, what questions do we want on the self-assessment? It was able to do all of this for us. And so it streamlined the process to get us the data that we needed. And so I actually was able, within weeks, I was able to have that meeting, build a self-assessment, get it built into new innovations, and then send it out to my residents, who were then able to fill it out and complete it before the PD met with the residents for their semi-annual reviews in the spring of last year. And so I can't tell you the time that it saved me to be able to do all this. It was absolutely amazing. Another thing it can do is it can help you create documents and policy. And so last year, I had a lot of new things happen last year. I had a fellow who wanted to moonlight. And so where the rules are written for our house officers to be able to moonlight, especially fellows. It's very strict in the way that it's written. And so I met with the GME. They said, yeah, that's fine. And so I asked for their moonlighting policy. Well, we don't allow residents to moonlight here. And so there was no moonlighting policy that the GME had. And so there's no set standard. And so they were able to give me one from another department. And so I was able to use that and then as a basis, and then went into ChatGPT and asked it to then write me a moonlighting policy. I said, write me a moonlighting policy for a fellow in a retina fellowship, including the only requirement from the GME was that he had to track his hours with the new innovations. And so that was one of the things that I gave, one of the parameters that I gave it. And you also how simple the parameters was that it gave me. And it gave me a detailed plan for that fellow to be able to go and ensure that they had the permission and the things they needed to do moonlighting. I didn't even talk about malpractice insurance, but it's going to talk about providing their own malpractice insurance, things like that, because it's able to pull from the internet and pull moonlighting policies from other programs. I know there are a lot of universities and things that their GME just basically has all their forms and policy things uploaded on their website. And so ChatGPT is able to pull from all that data to then create me an actual policy. And so I literally gave it this one sentence, and then it started to give me the actual policy. And so you'll see the full policy in our handout. This is not my actual final one. I actually went in and recreated another one as well too, just for this activity. But really, it was a phenomenal policy, and it was so quick. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I think we got kicked out. I don't know if my Wi-Fi must have. Do y'all know what the last thing y'all heard us talk about? Is that right? Is this one people still there? Okay. All right. All right, so this is the snapshot of the final policy. So what else can ChatGPT do? It can help you with problem solving and brainstorming. It can assist in approving ideas for program efficiency, resident support, or event planning. I actually have asked it to give me ideas for outings or get-togethers for our residents as well too. We give each resident class a fund to get together as a class throughout the year. So I asked it for examples to give me examples of things they can get together and do, and it was able to shoot those out, and I was able to send it to the residents and say, hey, this is not things you have to do, but here are some ideas that you may want to get together and do. And they have really taken that and actually ran with it. Actually, it's been a phenomenal thing for our residency program. But also you can offer solutions. So if you're having someone who is having trouble, you're having trouble with a resident, you may be someone who, like we talked about with Rainbow Bright, she's not reporting her absence from the hospital. And so you can actually have it write an action plan for her to make sure that she's ensuring that she's doing what she needs to be doing. So actually what I did is we kind of have the idea that Rainbow Bright is struggling and her medical knowledge is behind, and she needs a learning plan that it won't overwhelm her. And so what we did is we went in and told it we have a resident in our residency program that is struggling with medical knowledge. What are some tips in a learning plan so they don't feel overwhelmed? Because that is one of the things we don't want them to feel overwhelmed. We want them to still feel supported. And so it was able to give me a step-by-step plan to promote learning, to promote wellness, to monitor it as well too. And then this was a surprise. It's the first time I'd ever done this for me. It actually gave me an example of a week plan and gave me a grid. I'm telling you, as I was going and building this thing, I learned new things that it could do because I didn't realize that this was an option that actually it could do for us. And so it actually went out and gave us an action plan that she could follow each week. And these definitely need to be adjusted. 30-minute study on the weekend is not something that's going to help them before to take their in-service exam or the boards. And so things then do need to be adjusted, like Robbie said earlier. So this is the data that I input into it. This is part of the learning plan that it spit out and gave me a really great learning plan. I don't have a resident who's in trouble and needs a learning plan, but if I did, it really gave me some great ideas to get it started with. And then this is the grid that it gave me for the weekly action plan, which again needs to be adjusted, but it was great because actually you could tell it to give you a weekly action plan for studying or whatever it may be, and then it has this capability to spit this out to you. So guys, I'm trying, as you really get to go and learn and do, the possibilities with ChatGPT are truly and honestly, they're endless. The things we went over today are really just a few options that you can do. There really truly are a ton of different things that you can do. Are there anybody who has any questions or maybe wants to share things that they are doing with AI in their programs?
So I will say that I have never thought of doing all this stuff. I've been working with using ChatGPT to respond to some delicate emails where I feel like saying
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's really how I started out. That was really the
Yeah.
basis. That was how I started.
Yes, yeah. So making sure that you're professional. So I've been using that, but I never thought of all these different things that you can use it for. And I'm very excited. In fact, tomorrow I have while you were talking tomorrow, we have a clean out office day. Sounds weird, but my director got tired of the office being so, everything being dirty and it needed to be scrubbed and stuff like that. So we have a day. And so I did a checklist and put that in and said, okay, what should we be focusing on and what do I need to assign to people? So, and have people do, so make sure that we get everything done. And I thought it was very interesting to just put in that request and the list of things came out.
That's a great
Put
idea.
whiteboards.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Yes, really, those are things that it can do. It can give you a timeline. It can give you like by the minute how long things should take. And for example, I mean, really, I mean, it's endless. The possibilities are absolutely endless right now.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I did not do it because I didn't upload anything, but I was also in charge of putting together our drives. So we have a department GME drive, and then everybody has different drives, and people have been adding things in there and pages all over. And so I wanted to put something professional out there that there was going to be some changes. And so I typed in and got a very nice letter and amended it as needed. But it also said, would you like a suggested file organized? How do you want your folders to look? And, if you upload your current folders and how those look, we will map it for you. And I thought that was interesting.
And I will say it has recently started to give where when we first started this, it wasn't giving those suggestions, but as it's gotten, because they're beta testing 4.5 right now. And so the 4.5 is the one that's really is building and giving those suggestions. It gives me suggestions all the time. And I can't tell you how many of those I've used over the years, over this last year.
I thought I'm not doing everything. I broke it down. I think we had about 45 folders that we had when you first opened it up, and I cut it down to 15. So
Oh, okay.
but I just moved all the 40 into those 15. Like I didn't do anything special, but it just cleaned it up a little bit at that first glance. So, but it made a difference. Oh, okay. So Michelle said each year we have to design a fellowship recruitment poster for an annual meeting. It would be so great for this purpose. Yeah, that does sound interesting. Of a poster.
I would just say with that, because I've had to do an announcement for a speaker that was coming, and you can with the free version even you can do upload images, etc. It threw something back out that was strange. So you have to be careful and make sure you're really editing and
Yep.
like
So
we said.
for the free version, you can generate 3 images a day. You can ask it to generate an image for you. It's not real great with the lettering yet in the image. It can't spell the word ophthalmology to save its life. within an image. And then last year I had to create a happy Mardi Gras and it misspelled Grawl. And I didn't realize it after we put it on Instagram, it was in the background. And I didn't realize it was like a little thing. And I was like, oh my God, we just misspelled Grawl on Instagram in New Orleans. And so it's not done with the lettering, but I will say this, there are other AI programs that can do that. Right now I'm using one called Kava to build my, so my graduation program was really just like a 1-page fold out. And this year I'm creating a whole booklet and I used Kava to help me create the booklet. And so it was able to give me the basis of it and I'm able to go in and fill in the data. It's actually a really great program to help and do those kind of things as well too. And it's free as well too. So it's free to use. There is a paid version of that, which I'm not paying for, but the free version is really great just to help you use it.
Is it CAVA?
Yeah, CAV. I'll send them when I send the slides. I'll send the website over with it as well too. I have it saved to my desktop because it may be CANVA.
Canva?
Yeah, maybe it's Canva. Maybe it's Canva.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible speller and I'm dyslexic, so I apologize.
So Claudia
Oh,
also,
there it is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Claudia also mentioned that she thought it was a great idea to have 2 accounts, a personal and a business account. Kind of
I'm
keep
telling you,
everything separate.
I really think that's the best option because it is the stuff I write from a personal one is more funny or sarcastic, things like that. I do not need all that sarcastic language that I have melded into my language for work into an email. And so I really find it super important to keep those 2 things very separate because also as you get to use it, it'll learn, but as well too, you can. So I talked about you're able to upload a document to ChatGPT and you can only do that, I think, 3 times a day for free. I find it easier to paste and copy it if you can able to do that because you have more access to do that. But even things like just go ahead and like download your milestones and your program requirements and things like that and just feed it and tell it to keep it. And it'll help keep that data to help start teaching it now. Because that's what I went through. I went through and uploaded my milestones, my program requirements, a frequently asked questions document. I uploaded all that stuff into mine. And so that it would have that basis in that language to help me with the work. And so I don't want all that stuff in my personal one though. I don't want, I don't want to write up something funny or whatever. I don't want all that built into my personal one.
So as someone who has not used any AI, ChatGPT, anything like that yet, what do you suggest as kind of a first document? I know you've worked on evaluations and policies, but what would be a good, simple, small document to kind of, put my toe in the water, I guess?
And really the easiest thing to start with, I think, is rewriting emails. So in all honesty, that's how I started. And so I was writing responses to emails and I can't remember if I was inviting somebody, it was something it was an important email. And so I usually send it to my business manager when it's super important to have her read over it just in case, because I am a horrible speller and dyslexic and I write things backwards. And so one day I was like, so not this year at ACGME, the previous year, I went to an AI conference and it was really geared for doctors. And they talked about using it to write letters for patients, for insurance companies and things like that. And so I thought, that's a really great idea. And so I came back to work and started rewriting emails and just pasting. What I do, I was like, and that was really simple. You can be more direct with it and say, refine this email or rewrite this email in a professional tone and then paste and copy the email into it. And it'll put you a spin on a new email. And at first I was having to edit it, but now I'm telling you, I'm mostly just to paste and copy it over. And it's learned my language now and my writing style. And I'm able just to paste and copy it over. But I think that's the easiest way to get started is on emails.
I would say you could probably copy and paste some items that you've already completed and get it to kind of base it off of that a lot of times too.
Yeah, because when it first started doing it, it doesn't have your language yet. It'll be able to pull from other things and it'll be a professional tone, but it won't have your voice in it yet when you first start using it. But it can, as you start using it more and more, you'll realize that it is. But I promise you, and then you can't mess it up. If you go in and just put it in and just ask it to spit it back out, you don't have to use it. It's not like you have to use it. You're just trying. And so I think that's what the easiest thing to do is.
Okay, thank you.
I know one of the things that we utilize here is writing a SBAR when we want requests. And let me tell you, my psychiatry coordinator, he writes the best SBARs. I said, how did you do this? Like, you're really good. He's all ChatGPT.
So finally, so my business manager one day and said, so my business manager and I are friends. She recruited me to come work here. And so she was like, what's happening? What's going on? Why are these emails have been better and all my memos and stuff? And I was like, I'm running all this stuff through ChatGPT. I was like, no, I'm not, no. It saves me so much time. It saves her time as well too, because I don't have to send her stuff to reread for me and proofread anymore. It's all that. And I'll tell you what, my chair has me writing letters for her. She actually she sent me her graduation speech the last 4 years and have her do a draft of her graduation speech for this year to help her get started. They are even learning their possibilities are truly endless for her as well too. Because if you have someone's CV, an example of a letter, you can upload those two things for it and have it write you out a letter of recommendation, and it really can spit you out a phenomenal letter of recommendation as well too. That needs minimum amount of editing. It's really great. It's going to save you. I promise you, start using it. It's going to save you so much time in the long run. Once you get to learn how to use it and start doing it, it's going to save you so much time in the long run.
I had a letter for our program director regarding someone's training kind of record that we had to send out to officially, and I was able to get a draft really quickly. And I had to tweak a few things here and there, but it really was so much faster than me trying to come up with it on my own and go, oh, what do I have to put in here? And I just, like he said, you go like, okay, these are the requirements. Here's what they should, and just let the program know this is what they should be doing, and it'll give you a pretty comprehensively, yeah.
So you guys seem to be really into this. Do you know of any AI conferences that would be good for a coordinator to attend to learn more about this?
I don't actually. I've been looking for one myself as well too, and I haven't found one that I think is gonna be really great geared towards. I've even been looking for online courses and stuff as well too. The AAMC does have webinars that are based around AI and medical education. There's actually one this week at the end of the week. There's actually one coming up on Thursday or Friday. They're free to join as well too, and you can sign up and join those. I can send a link when I see the stuff. I'll send a link for that website as well too to go and register for those. And so I've been attending those. But I actually been looking for a conference or a class myself because I want to get even more. I want to learn even more than what I'm doing now. And I haven't found one that I think is really going to be geared towards us and is going to be useful yet.
There's another question that have you noticed any difference between Copilot and ChatGPT?
So when I was building this thing, I went to a meeting. I actually was interviewing for the job that I have now, and I found out that we have access to Copilot. So I purposely didn't start using it because I didn't want to get it mixed up with what I was working on for ChatGPT. And so after we presented at ACGME, came back to my office, downloaded Copilot, started using it. I went back to ChatGPT. I had it give me a summary of all the conversations I had ever had with it, fed that into Copilot, trying to get it to learn my language. I hate Copilot. I hate it so much. I can't get it to, the language is horrible. I can't get it to really write professionally. It doesn't seem as professional if I have it to rewrite an email or something. It literally just spits out basically the same thing that I just put into it. I don't know why, but Copilot uses ChatGPT, so I don't know why.
It's something with yeah, I'm sure there's other engineers working on that specific part that there's things lost in translation.
So it's just I've not been pleased with it, and so I went back to ChatGPT and began using it again instead. And so if you've already used Copilot and it's learning your language, great. You can still do all this stuff that we talked about today within Copilot. I just found that the results are better from ChatGPT than they have been from Copilot. Because I went in and had to rewrite letters. I had to create a document. I was trying to do all these different things, trying to get to use it, to get it to learn its language. And I could not get it to do it at all.
It's all personal preference, I would say. There are things that you're gonna find everybody has their preferences, and what works better for you might not work better for someone else.
Yeah. So, but everything we went over today, Copilot can do all of that. It just depends on. So if you are deciding between the two, I would suggest that you ask each of it to do the exact same task and see what results you get out, and then that kind of will give you an idea. But also with ChatGPT, there are times where it's trying to learn your preference. It'll give you 2 examples. And it'll ask you to pick between the 2 examples to kind of learn your preference as well too. And it asked me that I would say maybe once every 2 weeks, I get a thing where I ask me, asked me yesterday for a prayer for something I was working on. And it really, the results are more and more and more tailored to what I'm working on or what the results that I want versus what I was getting from Copilot. Sorry, poo-poo on Copilot if y'all like Copilot.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah.
And it's somebody, so if after this, if y'all do have any questions that you didn't think about afterwards, here's our email address. This will be in our slides that I sent out as well too. You're more than welcome to shoot us an email and ask any questions afterwards as well too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all so much for the invitation today.
thank
We really
you.
appreciate it.
Have
Have
a
a good
wonderful
day.
day. Hi.